Hello everybody, it's John, and today we're going to be going more forward on our video that we were working on yesterday. In this video we're going to talk a little bit more about Active Directory and what you can do with it. So there's two ways that I could go ahead and open up Active Directory. Here on the start of the screen, we go to manage our tools and Active Directory using and computers, or I can come down here, type in Active Directory, and it'll be right there. So once we get that open, one of the first things that you'll notice is you have your your forest, which if you recall we called ours dev.limitspath.local, and then down here you have the built-in accounts. This is just like your users, your administrators, everything that's built in with the domain controller from the start. And then you have your computers. We don't have anything in here. Anytime we join a computer to the domain, it will end up here unless we create an object for it already and put it wherever it needs to go. Then we have our domain controller, which is the test DC22, which is what we created in the last video. And then we have our security principles, which there's nothing there. Our managed service accounts, if you wanted to create service accounts that were gonna like do certain processes for services on a server, you could create those here. And then you have your users. These are just the basic default users that come with Windows whenever you set up your domain controller. So this is going to have your administrator, and then your groups and things of that nature. So what we're going to do is create our first OU. So the OU, we're going to call it we'll call it add tech. And then this right here, protect container from accidental deletion. If we were to uncheck that, we could delete this. Otherwise, if we don't uncheck that, and let's say we wanted to delete this, we'll have to open up View, Advanced Features, and then we'll have to go in here and go into the Properties, Object, and then you can uncheck it here to delete that. Normally, if you, or not normally, if you don't have these advanced features turned on, if we go back in here and take a look at the properties, we cannot see the object, and we're unable to uncheck that. So now that we're done with that, let's go and create our first user. So to create any users or groups or anything that you may need, you'll create your OUs out. So we create another OU here, and we could call it users, and then we could make another OU, call it groups. Oh, not quite what I wanted. Let's try that again. Groups. So now we have users and groups. And if you wanted to, you could also create another OU to put your computers in here. We don't have any devices at this time, but later on we'll cover that as well. So now what we're going to do is create a new user, and we'll call this John. And then the username will just be John. And we'll create a password for him. Now, generally, you would want to make them change the password at the next login. I'm not going to do that, and we're going to leave it like that, so I'll be able to use this account immediately with the password I made. So that's how you create users with an Active Directory. This account would not be able to log into the domain controller because it has to have the groups to be able to do that, which we'll go into that in further detail later on. But just for a quick example, we go to add, and then we can put domain admin, and that will add us to the domain admins group. Now we have access to go into the domain controllers and do all the higher level access that you would need. We could also do we could streamline that a bit. We could come here and we could do delegate control, and we could also do delegate control to give out accesses, which we'll cover that in another video. So now we have our user John. Let's go down to groups. We'll create a new group called let's do LP admins. So now we have this LP admins. The group scope is just the global is like the global domain. Domain local is how you would use domain local or possibly universal whenever you're doing like nested groups. We'll go over another video. So we'll go with the security type, group type. So now we have LP admins. We have to go into properties here. We can do member of, and then we can add domain admins. Now this group, domain admins, is now nested with inside of LP admins. So now we could give John the LP admins group, and that would allow him to have administrative rights as a domain admin without being actually in the domain admins group, but he's in a group that is a part of the domain admins. So the way that we would do that is we'll remove this, add, and then we'll do domain, or not domain, LP admins, check, okay. And that is effectively how groups and users work in Active Directory. We'll go into further detail later on. We'll go into detail on how you can do nested groups, you can do groups across different forests, and then using the trust, you can do a two-way trust, and you can log into multiple forests with this one set of credentials. Well, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.